Hey guys, today is April 22nd, 2025. I'm going to show you what I picked today. And I've been out here picking these longleaf pine needles for around an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours. And right here in my hand is probably $6 gross. It's a really small amount. It's around 3 ounces right here in my hand. And these range in length from 13 to 21 inches long. I'm going to put them in the bag. I'm going to show you the bag. Here's the bag, guys. The bag is like 3.5 pounds, which I picked. I previously picked the same amount a day ago or so. But this 3.5 pounds here is worth like $81. In my pocket, $81 in my pocket. I get $41 for 18 ounces. And after I mail it out, I end up getting $27.50, or right around there. So this would be 3 orders. So this would be 27 times 3 plus change. Actually, it would come out to 81 plus all that change from the 3 orders. It come out to $82 in my pocket. So this right here would equal $82 in my pocket, and the gross amount would be 41 times 3, and 41 times 3 is $123. So this is what I picked in roughly an hour and a half, right around there, an hour and a half, and it's $81. So I made around $40 an hour out here picking. I'm a couple miles from the house, and what I do, guys, is I come out to these different areas. I pick, and I try to come out here for a little bit, for an hour or two, and accumulate. I really like to accumulate like 4 and 5 pounds at a pop. But I'll tell you what, I was out here earlier today, and I haven't made a video. And when I was out here earlier today, I didn't pick much because we had to go somewhere. So I was out here for basically possibly 1 hour. And I possibly picked 2 pounds. That was it. That's all I picked. I didn't even get my bearings where I normally scope out areas. I just started grabbing them off the ground. I knew I had to leave. We had to go to a vet with one of our pets. So I came out here, picked for an hour, and then I left. I went home, and then we drove to Columbia to bring our pet to the vet. So I picked a total today. If you want a total amount, I picked 2 pounds earlier and 3.5 pounds here. So I did pick 5.5 pounds today. But it was kind of broken up. I was out here for an hour, and then right now I was out here for an hour and a half. Possibly 2, but not really, an hour and a half. So, yeah, I picked a total of 5.5 pounds today. Which would be, another order, or, it would come out to, it would come out to probably what I picked earlier. That would fill a $50 order. So I picked a total of like 130 in my pocket today in a few hours. And normally I like to come out here and stay out here for like 3 hours, 4 hours straight, and get between 4, 5, and 8 pounds. And if I do that, I'm very happy, because then I go home, I wash them, I put them out to dry. The next day I soak them. The next day after they have dried, I tie them and bundle them. But sometimes I do a reverse thing. Sometimes I'll do this. Sometimes I'll weigh them. And then once I weigh them, I'll tie them into 8-ounce bundles. And what I'll do is I'll weigh them, weigh 8 ounces. I'll fill the sink up with hot water, throw a shot glass of vinegar in the sink, a little squirt of soap. I'll put that 8 ounces in that sink for about 3 minutes, push it up and down, let it agitate. Then I'll take it out of the sink and I'll put it in the secondary sink, let it drip dry. And once it drips dry, within a couple minutes, I have the next one soaking in the sink. I tie that right away with yarn. I tie it twice in 2 spots. Now that's 1 8-ounce roll. I repeat, do it again, till I'm all done with my needles. Maybe I'll get 6, 7 rolls. Then I take all these rolls, I put them outside, and I put them on a rack and let them dry. And they're tied up into bundles. And they will dry. They'll dry. It'll take a good 24 hours, but they will dry. The following day, they'll be dry. Then they come back in the house. They go in an open bag, and they're ready to sell. And that's one way I do it. The other way I do it is I rinse them all in the sink, and then I put them in the secondary sink, let them drip dry. Then I put them all outside, and I just put them on a rack. Then when they're on the rack, I put a 2x4 going across them so they can't blow away, you know, if it gets windy out. And they're sitting up above the ground on the rack. And once they dry, the following day, I take them and I'll tie them up. I'll bring a scale out there. I'll weigh out bundles, 8 ounces, 1 ounces. And I'll bundle them, I'll tie them. And then they come in the house and they're ready to sell. And hey guys, I've been doing this 5 years. So because I've been doing this 5 years, I sell 100 pounds a month. I'll sell 1 week, I might sell 10 pounds. The next week I'm going to sell 40 pounds. It's up and down, but I mean, it comes out to 100 pounds a month, every month. And it's because I've been doing it for 5 years. I have a large clientele. And when I first started doing this, I had no clientele. And the reason I started doing this, these were in my front driveway. I have 4 trees in front of the house. I also have trees in the backyard. The trees in front of the house dropped so many, the things were a foot deep in front of the house. So I'm raking them. You know, at that time I didn't know they had a value to them. Because when you rake them, you break them. And I was piling them up, stuffing them in these big giant bags for leaf bags. The town wouldn't take them. I had about 30, 40 bags out there. They wouldn't take the bags. These bags were huge. I had to drag them around the backyard, all the way in the back where we got a fire pit, and burn them all. And I mean, it took a little while to burn them because there was so many. And my fire pit is like 10 feet long and 5 feet wide. But the bags of these, I put 3 or 4 bags on there, the pile would be like 5 feet high. Because I mean, I had these huge bags that were stuffed, packed with these pine needles, longleaf pine needles. So I burned them all, and then I started looking online. I said, you know, in the future, I wonder if there's something, because some of these were 20 inches long, and they would look like a horsetail. And I was like, whoa. I never seen nothing like this. I'm from Jersey. I'm not from South Carolina. So I looked it up. And I found out people sell these, and people weave baskets with them. And people do all kinds of crafts. They make wreaths that hang on the door. They weave these giant mats that hang on the wall, and they weave images into them. They weave placemats. They weave brooms. They weave these baskets that they imitate what the Native American Indians have done for hundreds of years. And they replicate stuff that they made, and they sell them for hundreds of dollars. And I was like, whoa, there's so much stuff. And I realized that after putting these up and gradually selling them little by little and building up a customer base, I realized this is a good way to make money. I mean, in the beginning, it was like, okay, maybe I'll make a couple hundred on the side, you know, a month or something, just picking some and throwing them in a bag and selling them. Well, 5 years fast forward, I'm grossing out like $4,000 a month with these longleaf pine needles. It's crazy. And what I make net after selling everything is I make around $2,700 a month. And this is just with these pine needles alone, with these longleaf pine needles. Now, I also sell vintage books. And the vintage books I sell, I get good money for them. I average around $35 a book. And I've been doing that around 3.5 years. And I'll tell you what, I got about 2,000 items up in my store online. And the website I sell on is E as in Eddie, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, Y as in yarn, Essie. And I also sell on eBay. I don't sell a lot on eBay, but I am on eBay. And there's 2 other sites I'm on. And I occasionally do sell books on eBooks. Now, because I've been selling the books for so long, I also have a large customer base because what I do is I sell vintage books, hard to find, collectible books. And some books, I'll find signed books and stuff in the Goodwill or different thrift stores I go to. I really don't go to Goodwill much because they're overpriced sometimes. But I do go to a lot of different thrift shops. And with the books, I'll make, sometimes, I mean, I read the book that was signed by a famous golf player. I made $150. I had another book that was signed by, I had a book that was signed by Jimmy Carter. I got a good money for it. I had a book that was signed by Ron Paul. So I had books that were signed by movie actors. I think what happens is people will, their grandparents or their parents will pass away and they'll have a book that was signed like 20 years, 30 years ago. And the kids have to sell the house and have to clear the house out because they have their own house and their own kids. And they'll go in that house and they'll take all them books and they'll donate them to a thrift store. They don't look at them books. They don't look through them books. Well, the books go to the thrift store. I go to the thrift store. Oh yeah, somebody just donated a bunch of books. I start looking through them. Oh, whoa, this book's signed. Of course, I'm not going to say nothing. And this book's a first edition, first printing. It's a rare book. It's worth $100. So I'll collect and it don't happen like that all the time. Believe me. I do hours of research. Sometimes I'll go in there and I won't find nothing. I'll find a couple books that are worth $20. But the thing is, if I buy them for 50 cents and I sell them for 20, and after it's all said and done, I make $10 or $15, it's great. And when I'm moving the books vary, but I do move about 100 books a month. And I list them, and I move them, and I list them, and I move them. Right now, I've been letting my stockpile go down, but I still have 1,000 books that I haven't listed that are in the house. 1,000 books. Oh, probably over 1,000 books. I'm guesstimating. I have piles and piles. And then all the books I have listed are packed, jammed, stuffed. So, and I put the spots they're in. Book 5, and shelf 3, case 4, and stack 6. I put by the window, by the door. I put where the books are so I know how to locate them. I stack these stacks 5 feet high, 4 feet high. I put them in bookshelves. I put them on different shelves of different bookcases. I have 8 bookcases. One bookcase is 2 of them are huge actually, and I have, like I said, I have close to 2,000 items listed. And I've been letting it run down, and I haven't been thrifting now because what I'm trying to do is I'm going to do something different. See, I got a lot of books that weren't really collectible, and they sat for a long time. And then they got rid of some, and I switched it up around. But because I make so much on the books, I didn't even redonating 100 or 200 books. I didn't take a loss. I still made out like a bandit because the books I do sell, I get so much money for. So, and what I've been doing now is I've been striving to get books that are valuable and that sell quick. Because I don't like to have books that sit for a year. So I strive to get books that sit for 6 months. And I do a lot of analyzing, a lot of different things I do. And you can watch my videos and check it out and see how I do this. And basically what I do is I use a couple different websites. I'll use Amazon, I'll use eBay. I'll see how many sold, how much they sold for, how many books are on that site for sale. If there's 1,000 books for sale, the book's never going to sell. You're going to have it forever because everybody's trying to sell the same book. So I try to get a book that's rare and collectible. And not really super rare where it's in a small market. And then sometimes I have done that too. I got books in a small market. But if it's $100, $200 book, okay, and I'm paying 50 cents a dollar. I'll buy that book, I'll let it sit 6 months, and I want to sell it, I get $200. So this is how I roll, guys. This is what I do. And the pine needles I've been doing, like I said, the longest, 5 years. And before that, I was selling auto parts. I tried everything. I was on different sites. I was on Amazon. I was doing different things on different sites. And then it took me a year to really get it together. But in the meantime, I kept listing and selling these lonely pine needles. And I built up a large customer base. And what happened was then when I started selling the books, I built up a large customer base with the books. So now I have a lot of people that come in looking for collectible books, and they come into my site. They come into my store to check it out. I have backlinks. I backlink to different websites. I backlink to Reddit. I backlink to here on YouTube. I have backlinks all over the place. So people will click on these links on different sites, social media, and come back to my store and check out my stuff. I also pay to advertise, occasionally. And I do different things. I throw sales up. I do all different little tricks that I learned throughout the time doing this. Now look, guys, I'm retired. I've done a lot of things in my life. I drove a tractor trailer. I had a mason business. I had an HVAC business. I had a floor waxing business. I got over 40 years working under my belt. Doing a bunch, working from a kid as a dishwasher to working construction, raking concrete, and doing all kind of, going to school to be a mason, having a mason business, going to school years later for HVAC, having an HVAC business. Before that, I had a floor waxing business. I was a subcontractor. I had big shopping stores. I did a lot of different things. I own rental properties. I did it all basically. And, money comes and goes. I mean, the HVAC business, I made super money. I was on top of the world. And then, that died out. That recession came when Obama, when Bush was leaving office, everything was collapsing. I had checks bouncing all over the place. I had to go back to work and work for somebody. And it was hard times, but I did it, and I got through it, and I just kept moving along. And I drove a tractor trailers over the road. I was making good money doing that. I was making great money. I did that. I got 1 million miles on my belt. Now I'm retired, semi-retired. I do this. I pay income tax. I pay a lot of income tax because I make a lot of money. But it's all right. I mean, just because you collect Social Security, you still got to pay income tax. And let me tell you, once I hit a certain age, I won't have to pay that anymore, but I'm not there yet. But, and of course, what you collect for retirement, it's not enough to pay the bills, so you have to do other things to pay your bills, and that's why I do this stuff. You can't pay your bills by doing nothing, so you got to do something. So I'm out here, and this is what I do, and I'm making money, and I'm doing good with it. So yeah, but when I first came down here to South Carolina, I was kind of lost as far as, what am I going to do now? I got to do something. I can't just sit around doing nothing. I got to keep making money, Got to pay the bills, got to pay for everything. And I came off the road from driving a tractor trailer. I was driving a tractor trailer over the road. And I came down here. And here I am, guys. And I'm loving it. I'm still moving along. I got to live with the living. You got to keep on living. So look, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Over and out.